Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, MizHoney. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. It's your girl, MizHoney, here to do a review for The Passage. This is season 1, episode 5. How you gonna outrun the end of the world? I'll wait. Okay, you guys, I am loving this show. I really am. If you're new to my channel, I'd love to have you as a member of the tribe. Hit that subscription button as well as the little bell right next to it. You know when I put out new videos, new uploads. And also, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It's like saying, hey, MizHoney. Okay, and don't forget to comment down below. If you go back to previous reviews for this show, you will see that we love to banter down below. Okay, my honeybees, my tribe, you guys already know how we do this. We've got this separated out between Team Good and Team Evil. Last week we did Team Good first, so this week we're going to do Team Evil because Team Evil is advancing. What we get to see on Team Evil is there's a visitor there. We have had one of the Black Ops guys get killed after opening fire and stealing a vial of blood. Anthony Carter has killed a medical professional there on the facility. So basically, we got the head Dingleberry in charge there to regulate. Okay, Clark, since you don't know how to keep everything under control, since you don't know how to contain everything and get us to our goal, I'm here to straighten all this out. Now, when Brad and Amy see the deputy director of the DOD come in, and he's kind of unassuming, but he's creepy. He's pretty creepy. Brad and Amy see him come in, and Amy's like, who is that? And he was like, that's the deputy director of Dingleberries. And Amy was like, I don't like him. He was like, well, you ain't the only one. Well, who is he? Let's just say he's famous for taking all of the credit and none of the blame. Thanks to Jonas getting Anthony Clark's blood into his mouth, he has decided that he is going to go down on 4B. Now, there's been questions about, I think my Twisted Life of Poetry asked about why Fannin wasn't visiting Jonas. We're gonna instead of visiting, what we're gonna call it is the vamp slide. And basically, what's going on is the vampires, the virals as they call them, have a huge telepathic ability, where not only do they enter your mind and influence your thoughts and your actions, they can give you instructions. Unbeknownst to you, it seems like you're in a dream having a conversation, but your real body outside of that is doing stuff that it should not be doing. So this is a very powerful weapon because essentially, if the government can harness this, they don't have to send troops over. All they have to do is have a group of these type weapons in military holdup somewhere and send them out telepathically to rid them of all their enemies. This is their hope. But what we understand about nature is, and the divine purpose of God, is that no man is in control. No human is in control. Dr. British, after Clark has had a long conversation with the deputy director of Dingleberry, he tells him, why is Wall Gas still here? He took the girl, he ran with the girl, he can't be trusted. Why haven't you put him down yet? Why is he still walking amongst the living? And Clark is like, well, I thought it would calm the girl down. He's like, calm schmom. First order of business, separate Brad and Amy. A mistake. A mistake. A terrible mistake. He decides he wants to meet with Amy without Wall Gas. Get rid of Wall Gas. So they go and get Brad and pry him away from Amy after they've had a nice conversation. You know, they have good communication in their relationship. Pries Brad away, takes him to his room, and straps him down in the chair. Now, Dr. British is trying to explain to the deputy director of Dingleberries that this whole situation has gone horribly wrong. We thought that through organic means we could create the cure for the avian bird flu. Deputy Director of Dingleberries is like, the bird flu? Don't nobody care about the bird flu. I don't care. Millions of them can die. It doesn't even matter. Because what we got here, okay, this is the ultimate weapon. People, I could kill it. I have no idea why are we talking about the bird flu. I'm confused. This is about creating a weapon. All right. He realizes that all of the virals, they have some inherent flaws, but it doesn't seem like Amy does. And as she's talking and she's, you know, telling him, we need to just get rid of all of them. We need to, you know, extinguish all of them and just admit what we've done is wrong. He said, well, what about the little girl? She said, oh, no, not her. She's different. He was like, yeah, that's why we want her. I was like, Dr. British, these are not people that you can reason with, sis. They're not. They're not people that you can reason with. You have got to decide on your own who this day you will serve. Good or evil. Well, Dr. Pat, the Asian doctor that's basically father, is sitting right next to her. And he is talking about how this was all his idea to bring Amy on board. And he feels like he can control what the viral / vamps are doing. He can control that telepathy with going in, simple brain implant and reorgan the neurons. Well, first of all, you dummy, you big dummy, okay? They moving around and rearranging blood cells, you know what I'm saying? They recreating stuff. They accelerating the growth of. They, you know what I'm saying? Like these aren't people that need 3-4 weeks of recovery after surgery. Like, they're healing themselves. Later on, we see one of the virals get their head drilled in, and no sooner did they drill into the hole is sealing up. So they got to be real quick with the electrodes that they're inserting. Like, dude, you're not in kindergarten anymore. This isn't Kansas anymore, Dorothy. You stomping with the big dogs up in here. Okay, come get with it. I don't understand that whole mentality. Like, you know what? I'm smart. I think I can outrun Mother Nature, cheat death, and take over the world. You're just a puny human. You're a mere mortal, sir. Anyway, Dr. British realized she on her own. She's explained to you that they're telepathically taking over the entire compound. And you feel like poo-poo, the Deputy Director of Dingleberries. And you got this idiot, Dr. Pat, over here who thinks he's some all-powerful God co-signing the bull crap. Girl, you're throwing your pearls amongst swine. You need to go find somebody who can help you root out a plan and see how you can mediate this situation. And that's what Dr. British does. Now, y'all remember we was on the fence about Dr. British. Was she gonna be team good? I mean, she did co-sign on Dr. Pat when he first had the idea of getting a child. And she did give permission to Clark to go ahead and see that plan through. Now, she quickly realized she wasn't in charge of Jack, but now she know better. So we putting Dr. British, Nicole, down on team good. All right, you with me? Okay. Before Jonas goes down to 4B. But before he do, he has to go see somebody. So he goes see the Elizabeth. And of course, Elizabeth doesn't know who he is. And he apologizes to Elizabeth again. He tells her that he thought he could help her, but he can't help her. You know, Elizabeth is like, pretty birdie, pretty birdie. She doesn't understand any of this. Well, the moment he sees Elizabeth, Fanning, who is in his glass cage back at the CDC compound, realizes that he can see into Jonas's mind. He can vamp slide on Jonas. And what Jonas sees Fanning sees. So when Jonas sees Elizabeth, Fanning sees Elizabeth. And this is where we get our flashbacks. And we learn that Elizabeth and Fanning dated first. Elizabeth decided she was more in love with Jonas. Elizabeth married Jonas. Fanning, even though he was friends with Jonas and he knew it was over with him and Elizabeth, he continued to pursue Elizabeth. He continued to be charming while sliding Jonas to Elizabeth. And Elizabeth loved Jonas, but he wasn't as exciting seemingly as Fanning. Fanning flashes back to Jonas giving a speech at this wine bar, and Elizabeth is tired, so he slides up next to her. See, listen, this is what I'm telling y'all about this virus that they giving them, this viral blood that they giving them. It within itself is not evil, I don't think. I think if you're evil, then it just exacerbates or magnifies the evil within you. I think if you're inherently good, even though you have these proclivities, that you are going to be good. Even though you might be still a vampire, you're a good vampire. I think Amy's a good vampire. I think Carter is a good vampire. I think Jonas is going to be a good vampire, even though Fanning told him that he wasn't infected and sent him on out by his way. I feel like Shauna Babcock and these other characters that they have there that have been infected are evil. They're inherently evil, and they have, you know, a side of them that is leaning more towards evil. And so they're going to be the evil vampires, okay? I think Clark is probably going to end up being an evil vampire. Shauna seems like she is determined to make that so. All right? So when Fanning sees Elizabeth while doing the vamp slide on Jonas, he flashes back. Turns out he loved her. He charmed her. And one night, he charmed her enough after she had had alcohol. He claimed that he wasn't drinking anymore. He had been off the booze for 3 or 4 months. And she was like, really? This was all a plan. He knew he was trying to get them draws anyway. Then he downplayed Jonas. He's boring. I know you want to get out of here. I can see you tired. I'll take you home. And he yells out and tells. This is in the past. This flashback when everybody was copacetic. When everybody was regular up in their own mind. I'm going to take your wife home. And Jonas being caught up in the ego and the regalia of all of these people, hanging on his every word, talking about the thing that he loves the most. He's slipping. He's slipping in the game. Because how you going to let your man take your girl home? That is the oldest trick in the book. And your girl been drinking. And your girl used to date him. No, sir. No, sir, Bob. This the kind of stuff that I believe the Caucasoid race does. But the African race, nah. First of all, y'all would have had to separate. Because he'd have been up on that podium like, oh, you just going to sit right next to this dude, Elizabeth? You need to move 2 seats down. Well, he takes Elizabeth outside. This in the flashback. This Tim Fanning. And shows her his fast car. Boy, that is really, really kind of feeding into who she really is. Now, she has love and kindness and thoughtfulness and stability with Jonas. Which is why she loves him so much. There's a racy sort of bad guy side to Fanning, which she's willing to give up, but he's appealing to that side of her now, that part of her that wants that is turned on by that. They end up kissing, and I believe they ended up doing it. Okay, Fanning is in love with Elizabeth. Now it comes out. So when Jonas gets thrown, he leaves Elizabeth apologizing and gets thrown into the clique. Now I halfway thought that Jonas was going to try to infect Elizabeth himself, but he didn't. Jonas is a good man. Jonas is a decent individual. He doesn't have a black heart, but Fanning visits Jonas and they have this conversation down in 4B. They both in their cell, but Fanning is the king of the vamp slide, so he can vamp slide like nobody's business. He over there in Jonah's cell talking with them old light, bright, icy eyes, talking about, why didn't you save her? You could have saved her. I don't understand why you didn't, you can't help her. I tried to help her, but I don't want to infect her. Why not? It's the best thing for her. He is mad as hell. And he says, well, why haven't you did the vamp slide on me before? And Jonas was like, well, maybe I just didn't want to. Maybe you're just not that interesting. And Tim said, maybe you're just not that interesting. And Jonas was like, nah, you just couldn't do it before. You couldn't do it before. Exactly, Jonas. That's why Tim Fanning telling you not infected is not true, because he couldn't do it before. He couldn't do it before. All right? You got the link in you. He can do it now. I think that's what's going on. Okay? Because we don't really see him invade the mind. We know that he's in the mind of the caretaker. But we don't know that he's anything other than a whisper. You know what I'm saying? A constant thought. Okay? We don't know if he walking around free as a bird in the caretaker's mind like he is like Shauna is doing, and like Fanning is doing Jonas. We don't know. It seems like he's just using him to do his bidding. Okay? So that makes me feel like he's a persistent voice in the caretaker's mind. I don't know if that makes sense, the difference between the two. This is what we learned from the flashback. Fanning decides that he is going to take matters into his own hand. So what he does is use his super vamp slide power to slide into Elizabeth's mind. Now, y'all know Elizabeth's mind is cloudy. It's very, very cloudy because she has Alzheimer's, all right? And she's confused even when he's in her mind, and he sidles alongside her like the snake in the garden of Eden, and he starts talking. Well, she don't know no better, no way. All she wants to do is understand. So she's in a weakened state anyway. Outside of being a woman, outside of being a damsel, she doesn't have the mental capacity to understand, and she is saying that she's cold. This is all in her mind now, and it's foggy, and I didn't know it was going to be this cold. He was like, it's not your fault. You had no way of knowing it was going to be cold. Let me take care of that for you. And he, all the fog out. She said, how do you do that? He said, I'll teach you. I'm going to save you. Elizabeth, I'm Tim. Okay, and you're a good woman, you're a brave woman, you're a writer. I mean, he just gives her all of this information that she can sort of hold on to, and also making her kind of codependent on him mentally. Like, this guy is scurrilous. Tim Fanning ain't no good. He was grimy from way back, but now that he got these superpowers, he's like doubly grimy. He tells her he gonna save her. So when he vamp slides back into the CDC, he looks at the camera, and he got that caretaker looking into that lens. Now, he's not looking through the glass. He is looking into the security camera where the caretaker's in another room on the other side looking in the teleprompter. And he gives him the notice. Go see Elizabeth. All right? So we see where Dr. Pat, who's going to be vamp fodder, we all know that. We knew that episode 1. He has decided, because he's promised the deputy director of Dingleberries, that he is going to control the viral's telepathic mind. He decides he's going to bring Dave out. Dave is as good a person as any. Now, Dave is the same person that Paulson from last week, the rogue black op agent, said he was went on a 5-year killing spree, killing girls in over 5 states. Deadly individual, murderous individual, smarmy. And he's so Trump-esque. All that self-righteous, smart, kind of southern, slick, slimy boy, okra talking. They get him in the chair, and you know, he is in full vamp, Walking Dead mode, like you know, he's been sedated. You know, this is what Pat thinks. He's been sedated. Of course, you know, he feels like he's God. He's orchestrating blood cells. You know what I'm saying? He feels like he is just powerful all over the place. It got him hands and arms and legs bound in this chair, and he's ordering everybody around because this experiment's gonna work, and he just knows it. They drill into the side of Dave's head and puts in the micro, and then they put it on Dr. Pat and turn on the machine, and he is like, oh, I'm ready. I think I'm inside now. And he tells Dave, lift your right foot, and Dave lifts his right foot and puts it in the middle and takes it back out, and then he lifts the left foot and puts it in the middle, and he shakes it all about and then sits him back down. And oh, Dr. Pat is so proud of himself. Now, listen. On the outside, this is what is happening to zombie Dave. You know, Dave is out of it. But in Dr. Pat's mind, Dave is talking to him and cooperating and doing what he asked him to do. Even though he's doing it very sarcastically, which should have been suspicious to Dr. Pat, but it's okay. It's okay. He's fodder anyway. You know what I'm saying? So the next time he goes to do it, and he goes to show the deputy director of Dingleberry what he has accomplished, and Dave doesn't move. Dave does not cooperate. He does not put his left foot in and take his right foot out. He does not put the right foot in and shake it all about. He doesn't do any of those things. He's just in zombie mode. Okay, that's no problem. Pat goes back later, and he's like, it's me and you, Dave. Okay, I know you did this. I know I got the answer. I know I'm all seeing eye. And so we're going to make this thing work. He doesn't realize that all of that, him coming in there to make this declaration, to figure out why these electrodes aren't working like it did the first time and all that stuff, all of that is at the suggestion of Dave. Why? Because when you let the devil in, once you say, come on in, and you invite that thing in, it's very difficult to get rid of. It's very difficult to get rid of. But Pat learns that a little bit too late. All the while, he thinks he's in control and he's in charge. They've got him unlocking the shackles on the chair. They've got him shutting the machines off. They've got him shutting the lights off. They've got him opening the doors. And Dave tells him to run. Dr. Pat is like, what? I don't understand what's going on. How are you moving? How is the light coming on? How is the door coming on? This is odd. Really? Really, Ninja? How about you run? He takes off running down the hall. He dead ends to Jonas's glass cage. Now, you beating on the cage, talking about help me, help me. He's in a glass cage. He's locked away. How he gonna help you? How somebody so smart, supposedly a genius, be so dumb? Like my daddy say, you so smart, you stupid. You so smart, you stupid. Okay, anyway, Dave is right there tapping him on his shoulders. Boom, opens his neck up. Ugh, he's out dead. Okay. By this time, they sounding the alarm because Jonas is screaming bloody murder. Meanwhile, Fanny comes over to into Jonas's cage. He does the vamp slide into Jonas's glass cage, and he starts telling him, wow, look at that. Isn't that interesting? That's going to be fun. And you're not affected, Jonas. And Jonas is like, he has had it. His blood is pumping. His adrenaline is going. He is upset. He has had enough. This is too much. He is overwhelming. He lets loose on Fanning. First of all, she told me about that night. She told me about that night and she told me what she did. But you'll never get her. You know why she never left me? You know why she's not with you now? It's because she loves me and me alone. You'll never have her. She will never love you, sir. And we're still together because we were going to let one stupid mistake break up our relationship. You will never have her. And boy, when I tell you Fanning's eyes went empty, he said, well, we'll see about that. Jonas got a cold chill down his spine. He wanted to be let out of 4B immediately. After Fanning gets the cruel idea of how he's going to help Elizabeth, he sends the caretaker down there, and the caretaker infects Elizabeth. He shoots Elizabeth up. I said, my gosh, he gonna make her his one way or another. Shauna visits Clark, and she knows that he is worried and he is concerned. And she decides, we breaking out of here. She tell him, we breaking out of here. We leaving and we taking over the world. And don't worry, because you gonna be my own little pet. I have decided that you're going to be my #1 pet. Don't you feel lucky, Clark? I said to myself, Clark is going to be one of their #1 soldiers. One of the #1 soldiers in the vamp game out there, all right? So she says, I know you need to get rid of Nicole. He was like, don't you bring up her name. You're not worthy to bring up her name. Even though he was so ugly to Dr. British. He was so horrible to her. When she went to explain to him that the deputy director of Dingleberries, what he was up to, and they were going to use Amy as a weapon, and the fact that she couldn't have that. And she knows that he didn't call the DOD and talk to them about executing Shauna. If she's in your head, you can tell me, Clark. I can help you. We can team up. But because he's so defensive, #1, and controlling, okay, and passive aggressive, he tells her, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about, and goes on about his way. Now, you just completely dismiss her, even though she is looking over the fact that you are pure evil, Clark, that you got a black heart. You're going to dismiss her. All right. When Shauna comes in, she said she helped Brad and Amy escape, and I know where they are. And she whispers in Clark's ear where they are. It ain't good. Amy and Brad, they formulate they plan to leave. Brad knows the deputy director of Dingleberries is there. He knows this can't be good. This is escalating fast, and we have got to get out of here now. Now, he don't want Amy to talk to the deputy director of Dingleberries. And so before they get there, before they come and whisk Brad away from Amy, he learns after talking with her for a second that she can read his mind. And they discuss it just briefly, the two of them. So when they pull him away, and deputy director of Dingleberries goes in and tries to talk to Amy. Amy got his card. She already know what's going on. Now, he suspects that she can read mind, the deputy director of Dingleberries, but he not for sure. When she says you're an evil man, or you're not a nice man, he know for sure she can read minds, because he know his own black heart. He know he ain't no good. And so he was like, oh, okay, can you read minds? Do you have telepathic power? She was like, I do not. He was like, I believe you do. She was like, I believe you can go to hell, sir. Well, in this moment, we see the doctor has come in. Dr. British has come in. After she has talked to Clark, she is upset that Dingleberry is going to be in there talking to Amy without her. And so she sits down and sort of advocates on Amy's behalf. And when conversation escalates and Amy seems uncomfortable, she goes ahead and gets Amy up out of that situation. And on her way to the elevator, her and Amy talk about it. And Amy was like, he's bad to the bone. And Dr. British said, if I tell you something, you mind if I tell you something? I don't like that guy, and I want to get you out of here. Well, Amy knows all of this. Amy is listening to everybody's mind. Everybody in the sea. She is as powerful as Fanning, if not more. If not more. Because of her youth. So she knows she can trust Dr. British. She knows Dr. British don't mean her no harm. And she lets her know we already got a plan. So Dr. British helps with that plan. She goes and cuts Brad free and gets Brad down to the blood freezer and gets Amy down to the blood freezer. And she's going to get them some passes and some things to get out of there. They got a book bag and a coat, but Amy ain't down there. Amy down there with the Brad, but she ain't cold. She in the freezer, but she ain't cold. And so she tells Brad a little bit more about what's going on with her. She was like, look, I'm not cold. He was like, don't you want to put a coat on? But I'm not cold. Just put a coat on. I'm not cold. It's one of the things, okay? It's one of the things. I can read minds. I'm not cold. I run real fast. And I talk to Shauna. Why do you like me? See, because that seed that Shauna put in her mind, where she telling her Brad gonna feel differently about you when he finds out you a bloodsucker. Okay? And Brad is going to have a problem with you. He ain't going to be there to take care of you always. So she want to know, Brad, why do you like me? And Brad is honest. There's no reason lying no more. It's no reason for anybody to lie because Amy knows what's going on. The vamps know what's going on. They in your head. And that's why I say one of the most powerful villains out there is a villain that's on Jessica Jones. If y'all ever seen Jessica Jones from Netflix, her arch enemy is a man that is not physically strong, but mentally, he could just make you walk off a bridge. Like, he could be anywhere he wants and makes you walk off a bridge. Like, he is a villain that must be controlled immediately. Well, that's what's going on with Amy and Fanning. They have the ability, gone unchecked, okay, in whatever capacity, whether it's a good heart checking it or them finding a way to control that or block the virals out of their mind. It has to be checked because going unchecked, they are a threat, more importantly. Okay, so he tells her he lost someone very special to him. He doesn't say his daughter, but she knows he's telling the truth. And she knows that because of that, he is taken to her and he's going to take care of her. One of the people that was working in the blood freezer sees Amy, and Brad has to knock him out. And they take off running. In the process, the alarm has been sounded because Dr. Pat upstairs got his throat open up and Dave is loose on the compound somewhere. Now, this is what I noticed about Dave. He running more like Walking Dead, you know. I was like, oh, he's not as sophisticated. I mean, looking at them, they don't look sophisticated, but it's not like they saunter up to you like a vampire. They're way more vicious. Like, they're not dignified vampires at all, like the originals. These are like type vampires, right? Brad's running, and Amy was like, let's not go that way. Brad was like, come on, this is the way out. And she was like, no, there's danger that way. It's Dave. Dave runs up on Brad, knocks him over, and he's trying to get to that neck. And Amy just freaks. She freaks. She starts screaming, ah! I mean, like Jennifer Hudson, like sky up to the high, like old original Mariah Carey, like bust your eardrums, like, what are we doing here? Ha. And it is almost like it's gonna explode Dave's head, blows him back physically. He's knocked out momentarily. Of course, he recuperates because their bodies heal themselves like almost instantaneously, and he runs off. Amy is still freaked. She's got all this power. She's still freaked, and she passes out in Brad's arms. And Brad is holding her so lovingly. I was like, she's the prettiest little vampire I've ever seen. She's a beautiful little doll. She really, really is. Anyway, that took a lot out of her. And everything that's going on, she was like, oh, I must rest. Ugh. And she goes down for the count. In the midst of all of this, we get to see Anthony Carter briefly. And Anthony Carter is there to let us know that Brad is not there to save Amy. That Amy is there to save Brad and the entire world. He is pissed with Brad because Brad is the one that brought him to this point. And he is talking to Brad inside. He's inside of Brad's mind, but he brings his own pleasant place inside of Brad's mind. These are powerful, powerful creatures. And he's sitting on the front porch at his mom's house, or his mama's house, who's been dead for 3 years. And she brings out some lemonade, and she defends Anthony Clark. He did not kill that girl, you know. And he's like, Mama, it's okay. Go on back inside. And he's sitting there, and he just schools Brad. He's like, Brad, it's about to be big. It's about to be apocalyptic up in this joint. Okay? It's some evil that's about to run straight amok up on y'all. Okay? And it's going to be up to us to protect Amy and make sure she does what she's supposed to do to save this world. Brad was like, well, I'm down for it. I'm here. I'm not going to let anything happen to her. He was like, you ain't here to save Amy. Amy here to save you and me and us and we. Okay? All right? Formulate a plan. Let's ride up out of this joint. Okay? Brad come to himself. He's more driven now than ever to get Amy out of there. He's more driven now than ever. This is the only moment we get to see Anthony Clark. Well, all hell has broken loose. All hell is broken loose. They have come, they found Pat's body. They get Jonas out of there. Jonas wants to leave immediately because he knows what's going on. He knows the look in Fanning's eyes. Tells him he wants to get out of there. He done seen this man get killed, and Fanning is alluding to the fact that he's going to try to take his wife on a ride, and he wants out. He gets out of there and makes a beeline to go and see Elizabeth. She must be somewhere on the compound, because he gets there like that. When he goes towards her room, he sees the caretaker come out of her room, and he's like, hey, and the caretaker's like, I can't hear you. He keeps walking. He goes into Amy's room, Elizabeth's room, who previously was in a wheelchair, and she stands up, and she knows Jonas. And she's like, Jonas. He was like, what? How is this possible? She was like, I don't know, but I like it. He looks over and he sees the needle. It's a chilling moment. It's a chilling moment when you realize that what you want ain't what you need. That even though this is the thing that you worked hardest for, that it's not going to be what you hoped it would be. It's going to be something really, really bad. It's a terrible decision to have to make, to choose between good and evil. And the person that you love the most is evil now. I don't know. Maybe Elizabeth will be one of the good vamps. I don't know. It's a crazy moment. We do get to see Lacey and Leela in this moment. We see, in this episode, we see Lacey looking up at the sky and she's crying. She's having a sort of come to Jesus moment. She's realizing that something wicked this way comes. It's this strong, innate feeling in her. She calls the stirring that lets her know that something apocalyptic is happening. She goes to, her and Leela go to this church after her and Leela have this conversation where she says, what do you do when you feel like you've lost your way? And Leela says, I rely on my strengths and my abilities. And I go back, I retrack my steps and find out where I got lost, where I got off track at. And Lacey's like, okay. They go to this church where they see this nun who's real tough and no nonsense with Lacey, but because of Leela's charm and ingratiating herself to the nun, that she agrees to let them stay one night. So while they're talking at the table and Lacey is telling her about this stirring, and she realizes that basically she has gotten her marching orders. Her mandate is to save Amy as well. So the mandate for good is to protect Amy, save Amy, guard Amy, get Amy to the goal line, and she'll kick the ball into the goal. Okay, this is what is happening right now. And Leela leaves that conversation and goes and sits down in front of the candles, because they in the Catholic Church, and you know they light candles, and I think they say a prayer with each candle that they light. And she's praying, and she gets snatched up from behind. We don't know who snatched her. We don't know. We won't know that until next episode. But you guys, this show is bananas. Bananas. That's the end of the episode, you guys. I don't know what's going to happen with Dr. British. I don't know when we're going to see Anthony Clark again. What is Dr. Dingleberry going to do? What about Clark? You guys, Fanning is pulling out all the stops. With everything that happened in this episode, I am fully expecting for all of the virals to be out and doing damage by the end of next episode, episode 6. I'm expecting that. Y'all tell me what y'all think of this episode. I've held y'all long enough. Until next time, honeybees. Mwah, mwah, mwah.